Hello. It's another beautiful day. I had a good idea because it's something that's kind of like, it always gets me into philosophical arguments with people. And it's this view that things can make sense in the universe, that they can be scientific, they can be against your intuition, but they can still make sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. But the way I look at it is like, if you look at some of the strangest things about the universe as we observe it, it doesn't not make sense to me. There's this idea, if a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Here's where it gets strange. I don't think it does make a sound. I think that that senses are half of the experience when it comes to properties of matter. So, if there's no life, I don't know how there is matter. I don't know how there is any material there. Because to know something is big or small or green or blue or happy or sad or pretty takes some sort of sensory information. Now, people have, they propose arguments to me like, well, just because you're not there doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And I say, well, how do you know? And they say, you go, and when you're in the woods, you see trees that have fallen over, and no one was there. And my argument is that you have to see those trees to know what happened, which still requires your sensory organs. Just any properties, it's a sense of the universe in its communication with sentient beings, because, or anything alive, because to exist, it needs to be felt. For senses have to exist for, you have to feel something to know it's hard. All that good stuff. So it's something that people can't wrap their minds around, because it's so easy to imagine a planet void of life still float, the oceans flowing and the mountains rising. And even that requires your brain to imagine. I mean, it's not that I'm saying it's not there, literally. I'm just saying that it would, if the universe did have any kind of consciousness to it, it would want us to exist. Not only that, it would want us to expand to new places. It would want us to travel the universe. It would want us to transcend the boundary of mortality, which is all the stuff that we're doing, that we're trying to do. And it would place things like wormholes in space, this seemingly intraversible frontier that, there's these random things called black holes. It's, I'm not educated enough to know why it doesn't make sense at this point. But as far as I've heard, just from this view, from this view of consciousness being important, that us having a role to play in the existence of the cosmos, it hasn't yet been disproven by anything I've seen. And it's like, when you have this idea, there's confirmation bias that exists. You can't take an idea and you can't just pick out all the things that you like about it. It happens all the time. I'm sure I do it without noticing. You have to do like the Sherlock Holmes movie says, and theories to suit facts, Watson, not facts to suit theories. You have to look at it objectively and say, what is the likely conclusion from gathering this raw data? And if you find an idea like that you really feel strongly about, it should not contradict with anything, really. I mean, it can. If you're right and everything else is wrong, then you're a majority of one. But if you find an idea and you start putting it over your reality in like a decoder ring, you start seeing things that you didn't see before everywhere it applies, and it just fits perfectly in. And you're just like, okay, well, maybe you don't just believe it from that point on, but you put it in your file cabinet, So, this is one of those things, so help me find out, guys. Help me discover the mysteries of why we are here. Thank you all.